We'll start by going into a roll down. So making sure that your shoulders back and down. You just tuck chin to chest gently. Roll down through your shoulders. Imagine you've got a wall behind you, peeling one vertebra at a time off that imaginary wall as you fold towards the feet. Take a breath in at the bottom. Breath out, pull up through pelvic floor, join over the spine, push away from the feet. And then stacking that spine as you exhale all the way back up. Lower back, middle back, upper back. Move back onto that wall, opening through the chest, lengthening forward. Breath in at the top. Breath out, fold forwards. Reach into chest, rounding through the shoulders. Exhaling all the way down, maintaining that core connection. Fingers reach towards the toes, take a breath in at the bottom. Breath out through the mouth. Push away from the feet. And slowly back up, one vertebra at a time. Stacking onto that imaginary wall behind you. Lower back, middle back, upper back. Draw the shoulders back and down, open through the chest. One more, take a deep breath in through the nose, without into the shoulders. Exhale out through the mouth. Eyes look down towards the toes, folding forwards, reaching towards the feet, breath in through the nose, and out through the mouth. Okay, so we're just in that supine position now, and the first thing we want to do is set our neutral spine, neutral pelvis position. That's the safest position for us to work in when we're on our backs. So to start off with, I want you to just do a couple of pelvic tilts. So place your pointer fingers on your hip bones and just relax the shoulders back and down. Now I want you to push the hips forward towards the knees, so you're creating an arch in that lower back. So you have a big gap between your back and the mat. And then we're just going to push those hips back towards the shoulders and imprint that lower back into the mat. So you're flattening the back to the floor. Now push forward again, hips towards the knees, creating that big arch, keeping the shoulders down, and then drawing back into that imprinted position, pushing the lower back into the mat. And you feel the hips moving forward and back, and when you move the hips, it also changes the position of the spine. So what we want to do is, now that we've worked through that range, we're going to find the midpoint of those two extremes where our hip bones are level with our pubic bone. You can use your triangle hands here to place heel of the hands on the hip bones, pointer fingers on the pubic bone. So you make a triangle shape, drawing the thumbs together as well, make a triangle shape across your pelvis. And then we want to lift up into a little crunch. Have a look at that triangle. Make sure you can see all 3 points. If you can't, it's just a case of tilting the hips forwards or backwards, like you were doing in the pelvic tilt, until you find that nice flat triangle, and then lower your head back down. Just take this opportunity to check how much of a gap you have under your lower back, so that, this is our neutral position. So when your pelvis is in neutral, your lower back should also take its natural curve, your spine. So we don't want to move too much from that. We just want to maintain that neutral position as we move through the exercises. Arm drops. So knees are bent, heels are in line with the buttocks, palms are facing, fingers pointing up towards the ceiling. Set your shoulders back and down so they just melt into the mat and engage your core muscles. Just the arms moving here. Exhale, bring those arms back. If you can, let the thumbs touch. Try to keep the ribcage funneling down. Inhale back. So what we're trying to avoid is we don't want the ribcage popping up towards the ceiling or up towards the shoulders as you bring the arms overhead. Think about a piece of tape attached from the ribcage, pulling down the bottom of the ribs to the hips. So remember, with the breathing, it's exhale over, keeping the core muscles on. That helps keep the ribcage down. Thumbs just touch if you can. Inhale back. Otherwise, take the arms as far as you possibly can. Inhale back. And imagine those arms are heavier than they really are as well. To make it a little bit harder, you can bring the legs up to tabletop position, and you're just working on stability here, taking away that stable base, still working hard through the core to keep that ribcage funneling down rather than lifting up. Exhale over, inhale back. You can also add a toe tap to make it that little bit harder. As the arms come over, exhale, drop one foot down, inhale back. Just working one leg at a time, both arms. Or if you want to work that little bit harder again, you can go into a double toe tap. So exhale, both arms and legs come towards the floor. Inhale back. Exhale over, keeping the core muscles engaged. A little bit harder through the lower back with the double toe tap. And there we go. Setting the shoulders back and down, engaging the core muscles. Just bring one leg up to tabletop position. Okay, from here we can either do a single leg circle, just circling at the hip, not the knee. So a little tiny circle, exhaling away from the body. Inhale as you return. Keep that heel up, tiny little circles. Try to keep the hips as level as you can so you're not rocking, and engaging those core muscles. Change direction. Same movement, just circling from the hip rather than the knee. And you're still exhaling away from the body. Keeping those shoulders set back and down, and inhale to come up. Okay, bringing the foot down. If you want to make it harder, you can move up to level 2, which is a straight leg circle. So a single leg circle, putting the toes, activating all those leg muscles, and again, setting the shoulders. Exhale away from the body as the leg comes away. Inhale, come back. Keep that other knee nice and still. So you want to imagine you're balancing a cup of tea on that stabilizing knee. And once you have that sense of control, you can start to make your circle a little bit bigger, which challenges your neutral that little bit more. Go a little lower with your leg. Exhale away. The other option to make it harder is to drop that leg down. You need to watch that core connection and maintain that neutral as much as you can. Exhale away. Inhale to come back. Okay, and you can do the same on the other side as well. Okay, this one's a supine bridge roll. It's a little bit different from our bridge in that we peel one vertebra at a time up into that bridge position. So keep the shoulders set, arms nice and rested by your side, squeeze the glutes. This time we actually move out of our neutral position, imprint the lower back into the mat, and then lift one vertebra at a time off that mat up into your bridge position. Shoulders, hips, knees in one diagonal line at the top. Make sure that you're not lifting onto that head and neck, so you still have your shoulder blades down. Take a breath in there and then peel slowly down. So working on mobilization through that spine. It's a nice one for your back. Peeling down slowly, butt comes down last, then you move back to that neutral. Inhale at the bottom. Exhale, tuck under. Squeeze the glutes. Imagine you're holding onto a $100 note as you come all the way back up onto your shoulder blades, holding at the top, taking a breath in, keeping the hips nice and stable, and then exhale, come all the way back down. Slowly moving down, articulating that spine. Okay, coming back down. Then for the supine bridge roll again, you can also peel up one vertebra at a time and add the arms. So take a breath in here, keep the hips high, exhale, coming into an arm raise, palms facing, thumbs touch the floor, don't let the hips drop. Now we peel the spine down first. Exhale, peel the spine down, vertebra by vertebra. Inhale to bring the arms back. So going again with that one, we exhale, peel up one vertebra at a time, feet imprinting first. Squeeze those glutes as you lift up into your bridge, hold there. Keep the core muscles activated. Inhale, float the arms overhead. So for this one, we breathe in when we move the arms, breathe out when we move the spine. Exhale, peel back down, spine's moving, so we breathe out. And then the arms. Inhale as the arms come back. All right, so for the supine bridge roll, we can just add the heel lift or the knee lift to advance it and make it a little bit harder. So we tuck the tailbone under, squeeze the glutes, exhale, peel all the way up. Keeping the hips high at the top, take a breath in here. And then exhale, lift one heel. Inhale, lower. Keep the hips steady, so headlights on the hips are showing up towards the ceiling. Exhale, lift the other heel, inhale, lower. And then we slowly peel that spine back down, one vertebra at a time. This time when I go up, I'll go into the next level up, which is a leg lift, peeling the spine, one vertebra at a time, lifting up onto your shoulder blades, hold there. Then we lift the leg, exhale, lift up. Stay as stable as you can through those hips, inhale, lower. Really working off that bottom leg. Exhale, lift. Squeeze that bottom glute, inhale, lower. And then peeling back down. On your exhale, one vertebra at a time. Moving back into that neutral position once the butt comes down. And take a breath in there. Okay, this exercise is rolling like a ball. So we want to start with the heels under the buttocks and feet facing, toes facing forwards. Just hands just resting over those knees, don't hold too tightly, and engage the core muscles. So we're just going to lift the feet up to start. You can glue those heels together, knees together if you like. And we're just going to tip backwards and just roll onto our shoulder blades. So when we go back, we inhale, roll back onto the shoulder blades, and then exhale, lift back up. So when you're coming up, we want to use your abdominals to lift you up rather than swinging. Keep the knees and the feet together and keep those knees that same distance apart. So it's just rolling, working on mobility. Hands are nice and light. Try not to come back too far. We don't want to be rolling onto the neck. Just rolling onto the shoulders and really using those abdominals to lift you up. At the top, you're balancing, keeping the feet lifted, so you're balancing and then tipping back again. Okay, this one is the chest release. So we want to just position your shoulder right at the back of your mat, and we want a straight line from the shoulder right through to the hips. Knees are bent and that 90-degree angle through the hips. We want to just have one straight arm underneath, rest that ear on the top shoulder, and then bring the palms together. Make sure the finger pads touch evenly so that the shoulders are stacked. Engage the core muscles. This is a nice one for the chest, and it's working on thoracic mobility through the upper back. We inhale, lift that top arm. Imagine that arm is heavier than it really is. Then as we come to the top, we exhale and open up. Eyes follow the hand all the way back behind you. Feel a nice stretch through the chest. And then inhale, come back to halfway. Exhale to close. So imagine you're moving that arm through water or jelly, so that you have that sense of resistance. We don't want to swing the arm. Inhale, lift. The knees and the hips stay forward. We don't want the hips rolling with the body. Exhale, over. Inhale, come back. Exhale, close. The other thing we want to think about are the core muscles. Keep the belly in and don't let the belly pop as the arm comes behind you. Inhale, lift. Exhale, open as you open the pages of a book. Let that arm rest just as far as you can. If the knees start to lift up, that's your cue to come back. Don't go too far. We don't want to lose that control through the lower body. All right, our side leg circle. So our top leg circle, exhale, lift up. Keep the bottom leg down, little circles circling at the hip, not the knee or the ankle. Tiny little circles to start with. You can start to make them bigger. So breathe in for one circle. Breathe out for the next. Arm up if you want to challenge that balance a little bit more. And again, you try to keep those hips stacked so you're not wobbling around too much and dropping forward through that hip or falling backwards. Then we change direction, circle the other way. See? Keeping that arm up if you can, or you can bring the arm down in front. Getting some mobility through that hip. Okay, the other one is our adductor circle. The outer thigh is worked for our top leg circle. Inner thigh is worked when we do the bottom leg circle. So we exhale, lift up. Knees just supporting there, little circles just with that leg slightly off the floor. Be nice and balanced with that leg in front. Squeeze the glute. And then change direction, circle the other way, using the inner thigh to lift the leg into that circle and keeping nice and long through that body, maintaining your alignment. We've got our spine twist up next. So we want to position your legs. You can either be straight-legged if you can. Pull the toes back towards you so the legs are nice and long. We want to sit up nice and tall in our sit bones so that we're evenly weighted. Bring the arms out to the side. Sink your shoulder blades down your back so the shoulders are not hunching up towards the ears. Keep the arms that same distance apart, lengthen through the fingers. And keeping the hips forward, we exhale, rotate to one side. Using the upper back muscles to twist from side to side. Inhale, come back. Keep the core strong. Exhale, rotate to the other side. Just going as far as you can. And then inhaling to come back. We want to make sure when you're twisting that you're not lifting either hip off the ground. So keep these sit bones centered, nice and even on each one. And exhale, come back. To make that a little easier, if you tighten the hamstrings or lower back, you can bend the knees and do your spine twist with bent knees. You can also roll up a mat and stick it under your butt just to give you that little bit of extra leverage, or you can cross the legs and that will just be nicer on your spine. Just dropping the shoulders down away from the ears, lengthening and twisting side to side. Remember, the eyes follow the arms. Coming back, and you want to keep those arms that same distance apart as you move from side to side. Engage the core muscles. This is a nice one for the chest, and it's working on thoracic mobility through the upper back. We inhale, lift that top arm. Imagine that arm is heavier than it really is. Then as we come to the top, we exhale and open up. Eyes follow the hand all the way back behind you. Feel a nice stretch through the chest. And then inhale, come back to halfway. Exhale to close. So imagine you're moving that arm through water or jelly so that you have that sense of resistance. We don't want to swing the arm. Inhale, lift. The knees and the hips stay forward. We don't want the hips rolling with the body. Exhale, over. Inhale, come back. Exhale, close. The other thing we want to think about are the core muscles. Keep the belly in and don't let the belly pop as the arm comes behind you. Inhale, lift. Exhale, open as you open the pages of a book. Let that arm rest just as far as you can. If the knees start to lift up, that's your cue to come back. Don't go too far. We don't want to lose that control through the lower body. All right, our side leg circle. So our top leg circle, exhale, lift up. Keep the bottom leg down, little circles, circling at the hip, not the knee or the ankle. Tiny little circles to start with. You can start to make them bigger. So breathe in for one circle, breathe out for the next. Arm up if you want to challenge that balance a little bit more. And again, you try to keep those hips stacked so you're not wobbling around too much and dropping forward through that hip or falling backwards. Then we change direction, circle the other way. Yeah. Keeping that arm up if you can, or you can bring the arm down in front. Getting some mobility through that hip. Adductor circle out the outer thigh is worked for our top leg circle. Inner thigh is worked when we do the bottom leg circle. So we exhale, lift up. Knees just supporting there, little circles just with that leg slightly off the floor. Be nice and balanced with that leg in front. Squeeze the glute and then change direction, circle the other way, using the inner thigh to lift the leg into that circle and keeping nice and long through that body, maintaining your alignment. On the belly, we want to engage the core muscles, pulling the belly button in towards the spine, squeeze the glutes, feet down. Arms are nice and long out to the sides. And just set the shoulders back so that they're not rounding forwards. With this one, we keep the feet down, we exhale, lift straight up, chest comes up, head comes up, arms are up. Little circles through those arms, keeping the palms down. Tiny little circles, you can make it a little bit bigger if you have that sense of control. Keep squeezing the glutes and try not to push the belly into the mat so you maintain that core connection. Working into the shoulder blades, into the upper back muscles, and then change direction, circle the other way, keeping the head up. If you need a rest, you can come back down in between, changing direction, and then lift back up so that you're nice and strong again. Remember to keep that head in line with the spine, try not to let it drop, or we don't want to be looking out in front either. Just keeping those eyes down, head in line with the spine. With your breathing, you can breathe in for one circle and breathe out for the next. Breaststroke swan. So bending the elbows for this one, nose on the mat, legs are long, feet again stay down. We want to squeeze those glutes to support the lower back, pull the belly button in away from the mat. Exhale, lift up first. So you're just lifting head and chest off the mat, letting those arms just float there. Inhale, hold. Now exhale, reach both arms forward, palms down. Inhale then to lift the chest a little higher, bring the arms back into that breaststroke action, squeezing the shoulder blades together. Then we exhale, just bend the elbows, float here before inhaling to lower. Have the rest on your lower phase, and then we exhale, lift up again. Inhale, hold. Without pushing the belly into the mat, reach the arms forward. On your exhale, inhale, squeeze the shoulder blades together, head still in line with the spine. Bend the elbows. On your exhale, inhale, lower. Okay, so this one's a thread the needle stretch. It's a dynamic stretch which opens up the chest and works on thoracic rotation. So wrists under the shoulders, knees under the hips, set the shoulders back and down, engage your core muscles. We want to bend the supporting elbow and then tuck one arm under the other. So get that shoulder and ear right to the mat if you can, keeping those knees bent. And then we just start to lead with the elbow. So breathing out on the way back up, lead with that elbow. If you've got any shoulder issues, just keep that elbow bent, eyes look towards it, and then tuck back under again. Bending the supporting elbow as you look towards it, tucking ear and shoulder to the mat, and then exhaling to come out, lifting the elbow. If you've got that full range through the shoulder, inhale, tuck under as you're threading that needle into the mat, and then leading with the elbow as you come out, exhaling as you go. We want to extend that arm fully, using the upper back muscles to lift that arm up towards the ceiling. Eyes follow that hand. Inhale, tuck under, keep the core muscles engaged so the belly doesn't pop. And then exhale, open up. So with the supporting arm, we bend the elbow as we tuck under, look towards that arm, and then start to straighten that arm as we peel back out, using the upper back muscles to extend that arm up overhead.